You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys today. And we are going to be bringing some excitement, some energy, some electricity to this podcast. I can't wait. We already have a guest on the line with us. He's fired up. He's ready to rock and roll. So, guys, help me give a warm introduction. And Jarvis Millender, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Feeling good this morning, man. Ready to get after it, man.
I know, man.
I first just want to thank you, man, for the opportunity to get on the podcast, man, and say I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, we're excited to have you on. I always tell people this is a platform for the lawn care community, man. It might have my name on the show, but it's, if you guys haven't noticed, half to 2/3 of the podcasts are all with you guys. So I'm excited about having you on as well, man. You get me all fired up. I got to kind of slow it down here just a quick second because we've been emailing back and forth for a couple of weeks. My schedule's crazy. You guys are starting the spring rush, and so. But sincerely, thanks for taking time out of your morning and your day. I know you guys are already out there mowing down south. So let's do this really quick. Jarvis, give these guys, we kind of call it the highlight reel. Give them like the 2 or 3 minute snapshot here about who you are, where you're from, what your business looks like. And then we're going to unpackage a bunch on this episode. I'm fired up.
Okay, man, I'm ready too, man. My name's Jarvis Millender, man. I'm from Kingdom Lawn Care. Pretty much just a solo operated business right now. My wife come in and help me sometimes, but I've in the past, man, I've hired employees, tried to run employees and stuff like that, and put another truck on the road. But man, right now, man, we growing in a different way, not growing in a way of numbers and how many properties we got. Actually, every year. For the past couple of years, man, I dropped down in properties, 21 year, then 20 the next year into this year was the biggest loss we took was 31 properties, but it's on purpose. It was expected. That's what we was trying to do is scale back the business, man, try to slow down a little bit, get back to going solo. Cause last year I had one full-time employee and a part-time employee. My wife was pregnant, just going through different things in life, man. So, I also came from a job, man, where I was making like $80,000 a year, getting paid like $28 an hour. Down south is good money. I know in California that ain't much, but
sure.
Down south, man, I was working for the biggest employer in Mississippi, building Navy vessels, Welding.
Wow.
So I came from that, man, to jump in it full time, and I've been doing it, man, about 15 years on and off. Started in high school, man, with a push mower around the neighborhood, going across the highway, push mowing yards. Wasn't even weed eating when we started out. Wasn't weed eating, wasn't blowing, no trimming, no nothing, man. We just push mow the yard for $30 and that was it, man. So we here today, man. We real profitable, man. We trying to continue to get as profitable as possible.
I love it, man. Well, hey, I got to ask really quick. You're a new father, first or second, and then boy or girl?
Man, third time father, man. Third time. I got a 7-year-old. I got a 7-year-old little girl. She the love of my life, man. I prayed and asked God, please don't give me a girl, but that's the best thing ever happened to me.
Amen.
And I got a 5-year-old little boy, and we just had a baby boy in January.
Oh, so, that's awesome, man. Good for you guys. It changes everything, doesn't it? Like, and I mean, you could tell me that, not the other way around. I got my first, she's 7 months, and man, it changes. Yeah. And people like without kids, like, what do you mean it changes everything? I'm like, dude, you just have to, when you go through it, you'll get it. And then when I ask you, hey man, how's life? And you go, man, everything's changed, So,
yeah. So that love I'm talking about.
It's wild, man. A little baby girl. I don't know. Like I wanted a boy first. It's like almost everybody, right? Like every other dude I talk to, and then guy gives us a girl first. And I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm telling you straight up. And yeah, she is the apple of my eye. I was playing with her. I was on baby duty all yesterday morning, all this morning. We had a couple of rain days and give my wife a break. And it's just fun to be present. It's just fun to be playing with them, man. They grow up so quick. I mean, she's 7 months old and she's like 1 minute away from crawling and she's like standing up. She's like skipping a step. I don't know what's going on there, but it's wild, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's do this. Let's I want to get into your story. We got about a half hour here. I actually got back-to-back podcasts I'm shooting today, trying to be productive on a rain day with all of our companies and everything that we're doing. But I love what you guys got going on. You've got some new equipment purchases. You've got totally different totally different business perspective. You're down south. I want to hear about your guys' grass types, your guys' mow setup, all that fun stuff. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to kick it over to Marty, Mr. Producer, down in the ATL really quick. We hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, and then we're going to kick it right back over to Jarvis. So guys, hang tight, and we're going to come right on back.
Summer showers, dust that chokes, acres that just won't end. Exmark knows the job of a landscape professional isn't an easy one. That's why we've crafted a legendary line of mowers built to overcome any obstacle. So you're ready to close the deal and finish the job, like you always do. Cut from the same red metal as your Exmark mower, you aren't just good at this. You were built for this.
Hi, it's Mr. Producer, and these days I wish I was a producer of gas. Maybe I should clarify, gasoline. Thanks to Joeflation, prices at the pump are nuts. Everything costs more. Do you have a plan on how you're going to raise your rates this year? You don't? Well, that's okay, because the Lawntrepreneur can help. Brian has a time-tested price adjustment letter that you can add your specific info to and then email or mail to your clients. The letter's only $49, but it's going to make you 7 to 12% more in profit this year. Scared money? Don't make no money. Now you don't have to be scared about how you're going to professionally communicate with your customers so you can remain profitable. The link for the price adjustment letter is in the show description.
All right, Jarvis, we're going back to you, brother. We're going to jump right back into it. So give these guys a little bit more of the lay of the land about the business that you're growing down there. What's the name of the company again? And then take it all the way back. You said you've been mowing since high school. What was the reason for getting started in the green industry business at a young age?
Okay, man, that's a good question, man. I started just like everybody else, Brian. Man, I started back in long time ago, man, when I was in high school. I just was trying to make a couple of extra dollars, man. We didn't have a whole lot growing up, so I want a new pair of shoes, something like that, man. So I had to find out how I can get it, But just had different little family problems, man, and stuff growing up. But no excuse for not to grind. Really like motivation. So, man, we started. Me and a couple of my friends, man. I had got an old push mower, man, from my granddaddy. Okay. And, man, we used to walk around and just knock on doors and just, can we cut the grass? And, sometimes we might not make no money. Sometimes we might just cut yard. Well, you split $30, 3 ways, man. That ain't number $10. Well, anyway, man, we'll fast forward, man. I had finally got a truck around 2010. I had a car in high school, and I used to throw a push mower back in once I got a car. But 1985 Maxima. But then, man, I had by 2010, I had got a truck. Okay. And man, I started using a lawn tractor, a Husqvarna lawn tractor, cutting grass, and I finally was able to get out of my neighborhood and go a little further and try to get a few better yards. But it still was a little difficult, man. And I probably was doing like 10, 15 properties, and the only reason I wasn't thinking about having a business, I kind of called it a business, but man, it wasn't nowhere near a business. I was just trying to make some weekend money, some gas money, eat out money, stuff like that. Sure. I was still staying at home with my parents. Well, after high school, around that same time I had got that truck, man, I started going to the junior college down here, man. They teach you welding trades and pipe fitting and pipe welding. Sure. Well, I took all of them up, because the shipyard down here, then we got Chevron Refinery. It's also in Pascagoula. So we got then in Miles Point at the time it was 2 small shipyards, and then there was another shipyard in Pascagoula. So it's a lot of industrial work down here as far as shipyard. So man, I started chasing after that and was just cutting a few yards on the side while I was doing that. Well, when I finally got a job ship fitting, I started out ship fitting. It's basically like a steel worker, an iron worker. Okay. But that's actually building the ship. Like, we put them together, sheets of steel and angle iron and T-beams and all that stuff. We actually building it. And that's what I was doing, man. And I had started making what I thought was good money, man. I think at the time, man, I was making like $19 an hour when I came in.
Wow.
And I sat down, man. I sat down and started doing that. And then I had got married, man, got a house, and I was doing that. And I at that time, man, if somebody called me to cut their grass, I'd just go get my dad a lawnmower. I ain't even have a lawnmower, man. I had a little cheap push mower what I push mow my yard with. But I'd go get my dad a lawnmower and go cut grass, but I really wasn't trying to cut grass no more. Well, then I had started making decent money with overtime, so I was bringing home close to $1,000 a week.
Wow.
So that was getting me by with my family. My wife, she was working a little job at the time. And, well, I transferred from one of them small shipyards. I was subcontracted, so I was making a little bit more money. I transferred from the small shipyard and went to Ingalls. And when I went to Ingalls, that's when I became a welder. I had already knew how to weld because I went to school for it. Mm-hmm. Well, when I had transferred, man, my money dropped.
Oh, okay.
And I know I'm digging into my job history a little bit, but it's a reason for it. And when my money, they started me from the bottom like I was a helper because I never had on-the-job experience welding.
Okay.
But it was a better job because they was topping out at the time like $26, $27 an hour. You know, they got real good insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield of California, you know, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Not sponsored. Mm-hmm. But
hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah. But anyway, man, so I went from bringing home almost $1,000 a week to $500 a week.
Oh, wow.
Well, guess what, Brian? This the only thing I got, and my wife working a little part-time job. We just got this house, and now guess what? She pregnant with my baby girl.
Oh, wow.
She got pregnant with my baby girl. And I ain't making nothing like $500 a week, man, welding. And you know, because they started me out like I'm brand new.
Right.
And you know what happened after that, man? You get a house and you got all this going on, and I almost lost my house.
Wow.
It started going downhill, man, fast, man. I'm talking about, man, I was like 3 months behind, man. And the bank had called me. They was like, if you don't have 35, they had tacked on lawyer fees on top of my payments.
Oh, wow.
They was like, if you don't have $3,500 by today, you gonna, tomorrow, you know, you got to get out the house tomorrow.
Wow.
And I had been trying to put a little bit of the money up at a time so I could take a whole lump sum down there. But anyway, man, fast forward over all that. We ain't going to dig into it too deep. One of my partners, man, Gibson Lawn Service, man, we talk almost every day. He into it now. He still working at the shipyard and cut lawns on the side. But he helped me out on that side, man. Well, you know, after all that, Brian, I said, man, I got to go back to what I know, how I can make some extra money. I can't leave this job because I'm moving up, mm-hmm. but I can't leave it right now. Mm-hmm. Well, man, I went and I financed a Husqvarna mower.
Okay.
I went and financed me a lawnmower. It was just a homeowner mower, man. Went to the Husqvarna dealer and financed it, man. I had went to Lowe's and got a weed eater, the head change out, interchangeable head, put an edge on it. Got me a little cheap handheld blower. And man, I started going after it, man. And we finally started coming out the hole. Now we just even because, you know, I just pretty much picked up my old customers and, man, it started taking off from there, man. It took a while. You know, I still didn't know business at all because right now I'm just doing it on the side, trying to pick back up, man. And it's around like 2012. 2014 now.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
You know, I'm just trying to get back into it, man. And I started, you know, picking up. So I started just picking up customers, going back, knocking on doors, just trying to do it as much as possible. 2016, I had a baby boy. That's when my baby boy was born. And, man, by this time, man, I'm doing like 30 properties and now the shipyard giving me overtime and I'm topped out now. So now I'm making like $28 an hour.
That's good.
You know, and I could get some overtime. So now I'm back up around $1,000 range a week. And I'm doing my mowing, you know, and my mowing picking up. It's still, my business still way unorganized in 2016. But I'm doing everything I can, you know, just to stay on top, build my business, take care of my family.
Sure.
And I think at that time, man, I probably was doing around like 30 30 to 40 properties, but a lot of them, I didn't like them, too much poop in the yard. It's just a bunch of junk, man. Sticks always falling. If the wind blow 15 miles per hour, the sticks falling out the dead tree. It was just a lot of junk that was going on, man, and I wanted to do better in my business. Well, fast forward, man, about 2018, I had landed a contract with some dollar stores. Big mistake.
Okay.
I ain't knocking nobody that got contract with dollar stores, man. I was doing Family Dollars. They had called me, they contacted me, and no, actually, I'm lying. I contacted them, and at this time, I don't even do
commercial or whatnot.
Commercial properties no more.
Yeah.
I don't do them at all. Residential for me, this just for me and my business, is a whole lot easier, a whole lot better for me. But at that time, man, I was chasing it. I was getting all I can. And I had landed 14 Family Dollars. And I'm talking about, man, from one end to the other, man, it was like an hour apart.
Wow.
An hour apart.
Wow.
And then they wasn't paying them like $55, $60 a property. And every time you go, it's full of trash. I'm talking about people it's like they literally open their car door and clean their car out in the parking lot. So, man, it was horrible, man. Every time we went, man, we were spending 30 minutes, man, trying to clean up trash. And see, I'm working a full-time job, so I had to spend my whole entire Saturday doing all those, going from one Family Dollar all the way to the other.
Wow.
Well, after a while, my wife, man, we started going through it. Now, guess what's happening? I ain't at home. I'm not at home much, because I was waking up going to the shipyard. The traffic is horrible.
Sure.
The traffic horrible. You got to be on the job site. From your car to the job site, it literally take like 20 to 25 minutes to walk from your car to the actual, like where we gonna meet up at, because I was all the way at the back of the shipyard.
Wow.
But anyway, and man, I had to get up like 4:30 in the morning to head off to work, and I didn't get home until about 3.
Okay.
As soon as I got home at 3 o'clock, I hooked the trailer up and I'm gone.
Wow.
I don't get back home till 8:30 at night. Well, Brian, that sound good. If you're a single man, that's cool.
Right.
But when you got a family, man, that puts your family in a bind, and that starves everybody in your family out because their man need to be there. I understand. I was trying to make a way, and by this time, Brian, I'm like, man, I got to get out this shipyard. I'm finna do this full time. I'm finna cut grass full time, and I'm finna run it up. That's my mindset. So I didn't want to do it. It's not nothing I just wanted to do. Oh, I want to be gone 14 or 16 hours a day. That's what I want to do. That's not what I wanted to do, Brian, but that's something I had to do to get my family to a place where I wanted it. So, man, now every single Saturday I came home, my wife wasn't talking to me. She just looked at me, wasn't talking to me. And now my marriage on the verge.
Yeah.
And I was, I was trying.
I only chuckle because almost we've all been there. You know what I'm saying? So I get really quick. Here's our marriage plug for Together in the Trades. Come on down to Nashville, Tennessee. We'll help you fix your marriage. Just kidding, but sorta. Yeah. But
we way on top now, man. We way on top.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
2018, 2019, man, it was horrible, man, because I was working way too much, and I understood that. And I remember one day, Brian, I was riding. And I was cutting them dollar stores, and I had somebody in the truck helping me, and I started talking to him about my family and stuff like that. Man, I broke down.
Sure.
I broke down in tears, man, because I wanted to be home with my kids, but I had so much stuff going on at the time, and I'm trying to build my business so I could do it full time. And so I sat down. I said, man, you know what? I gotta find some kind of way to ease her from, to keep her off me so she'll feel better. And I tried to sit her down and understand, but she didn't care. All she told me, it ain't about the money. I don't care about it. And that's all it was. She would rather me just stay at Ingles and just did that and did that only. But I was trying to get as much as I could and milk the cow as much as possible, man, so I can have a level head one day. But anyway, man, I end up hiring another. I had a helper. I end up hiring another guy to run a truck for me, man, and they was cutting the yards. and going over there cutting the dollar stores, while I'm at work. So I'm working overtime, and I was trying to pile it up, man, get some debt paid off, get ahead on some bills and stuff like that. And that stuff started going left for me, man. They started cutting yards, man, that I didn't know nothing about.
Oh yeah, sure.
Started cutting yards that I didn't know nothing about. And then, then I started getting calls, man, that stuff not done right. My business was unorganized anyway. It was unorganized. And man, it started just bothering me so bad. So then I just scaled back down, man, and just went to just me and another guy. So I started including my wife in the business in some kind of way. I was trying to get her to do paperwork, do something so you can, help me get it organized and you can understand what's going on in your business. So I encourage everybody out there, if you got a spouse that's not on board and that do complain, number one, you got to hear them out. We got to hear them out, Brian, because they are starving, and women, they are emotional creatures. And so when they speaking and they fussing and whining and complaining and griping and all that other stuff, when they doing that, man, it's a reason they doing it. And we got to hear them out, because if we just ignore it and be like, oh, they'll be all right, they'll get over it. Yeah, they might get over it, but they might be alone once they get over it. And that's not what we want.
Right.
So, man, we definitely got to find a way to include them. And I'm glad to say, man, I'm a blessed man now. My wife, she really wasn't real interested in it. And I think it was more because she was just upset with me a lot for working so much.
Sure.
But every Saturday I came home at night, Brian, I'm trying to, hey, whatever you want to eat, wherever you want to go, let's go. And I'm dead tired, man. We go to the movies and I'm asleep. We go out to eat, man, and on my way back home, I'm asleep, So it was rough, man. It was rough. But anyway, man, 2019, I had made plans, man. I set a date. And I think that's the best thing that we could do. When we ready to leave our full-time job, is to set a date. When we really feel like we ready. I wouldn't tell, a lot of people, I heard the question asked a lot in the community about, should I leave my full-time job? I can sit right here, Brian, right now and say, yeah, leave your full-time job, because it's probably somebody that's going to hear the podcast and I just say, yeah, leave your full-time job. But you have to know you. You have to know who you are, because the reason I was able to leave my full-time job, because I knew that I was going to hustle and I was going to do whatever it took, to when times got hard. And that's what we got to understand on. You can't depend on nobody else no more but you when you're running a business. There's nobody else to depend on. So you got to know you before you leave that full-time job. But
that's good.
Anyway, man, I set that date. I said March 20, this was 2019. I said March 2020, I'm going to leave my full-time job. And, man, I piled it up. I told my wife, I said, babe, just let me work real hard one more year. I said, let me do all these hours one more year. And I made a vow to myself and to God and to my wife. I said, I'll never work like that. Once it's done, I'll never overload and work like that again. Because, Brian, I'm talking about a tiredness. Working at the shipyard, that's some hard work. I'm talking about these ships, man, these vessels,
Well, you sent me that video, not to interrupt, but you sent me the video, man. We're talking like little battleships and cruisers. Destroyers. Yeah. They're wild. You sent me some videos, which I appreciate. And man, that's hard work. I've done some construction with my friend's dad, and we were at this new facility, and they were doing a bunch of. It was refrigeration and heating and cooling. So pipe fitters and all these guys, man, they are some men's man. Like these guys were awesome. So welding, putting pipes together, union guys, they were crushing it. To be honest with you, I was like just awed at like how efficient they were actually at on the job site. And so anyway, not to interrupt you, but man, you guys are doing serious work. That's heavy lifting. It ain't slinging mulch,
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, it was tough, man. Then you get there, man, and I'm talking about anywhere, man, from 7 to 15, 20 flights of stairs, man, going up on them ships.
Wow.
But
wow.
It's rough, man. But anyway.
Well, take us to March 20, you said, or March something 2020. So that was the year of the pandemic. So did when you made the jump, did you go full time or part time or down to part time? I mean.
Well, man, I'm gonna tell you, man. At that time, my wife my wife was working when I was getting ready to leave. In 2019, she was working, and she had miscarried, man. And
sorry to hear that. Yeah.
In December, and I had left in March.
Okay.
I had already made plans to leave, and I left, man. And when the pandemic, I wasn't worried about it. But then at the same time, when they started shutting some stuff down, it didn't hit down south like it did up there.
Yeah.
It wasn't much, just shut down like that. So I didn't have to worry about that too much. But, man, I hit the ground running. When I was still at Ingles in February, man, I was going to neighborhood. I had made me some postcards up. And I know you got yours, but I didn't even know about all this at the time.
Yeah.
And I had made up me some postcards, man, and I did all my stuff on Vistaprint, and I went out, man. I hit the ground running, and me, my wife, and my kid. Remember, I told you I'm getting my wife involved in this business heavy. Mm-hmm. So on the weekends, man, I was hitting the ground, and I was taking off work even, during the day, and we knocking on doors in all these neighborhoods. I want to get my foot in here, and I want to take over these neighborhoods. And, man, it went from like one person in the neighborhood, man, to like 15 in one neighborhood that I was doing.
Wow.
So I was really doing good in these neighborhoods. Then I hit another neighborhood, and then I'll do a big landscaping job. Once I had finally left in 2020, I'll do a landscaping job. The next thing you know, I got 4 properties that I'm mowing and maintenance and in this neighborhood, nice neighborhoods. And then now I'm doing the entrance of the neighborhoods for the HOA.
Yeah.
But different stuff like that, Brian. I got out and I knew I had to know me. I had to know me and know what I was going to do. So I had to believe in myself and know that I had to know that I was going to get up every morning and treat it like a real job. At a certain time, I'm out the door and I got to go, whether it's raining or not. And it's one thing I learned too, and I encourage people to do it. Just because it's raining, it's scattered. If it's a big old storm like we just had come through, and they had some tornadoes a little north of us that came through yesterday, overnight. But anyway, if it's like that, no, don't go out. But if it's just sprinkling in the morning, don't lay in that bed, get up and go out anyway. Find something productive to do. We got to, take them days, man, even when it's raining hard, get out there in the shop, garage, or wherever it is, man, sharpen them blades, change the oil. But we got to make this time, man, meaningful. You got to use that time wisely.
There's always something to do. I was just going to say, we got back-to-back rain days. I'm doing on yesterday. I did nothing but commercial quotes and bids. A lot of them, big properties that we're bidding on. We're growing too. And then my guys were getting their MDOT medical cards and certifications and their physicals to drive the truck with make sure all their ducks in a row. And one guy's upgrading his license to a chauffeur's, right? So that's a rain day. And then today they're pulling all of our snow stakes and cleaning up a massive amount of sticks on this massive property. We're doing a huge cleanup on. So there's always stuff to do. There's always something to do. If let me put it this way: if you want to do something, there's always something to do. And if you if you want to justify the day being a rain day and go take a nap for 2 hours, look, I'm not going to judge you. I like taking naps too, but a little sleep, a little slumber, and you guys know the rest of the story. So really quick, let me ask you this: we got about a good 5 minutes left. I want to ask you. What's the business look like today? And then tell me real quick about some equipment, because you picked up a Vertex and you were giving me some gruff because you were like the first one to have it, I think, in the country, it seemed like. And so and you're already mowing with it. We're not going to be mowing for another month up here with our weather, but so give me the snapshot. Where are you guys at today? And then some new equipment, and I know you're fired up about it.
Okay, man, today, like I said, man, we dropped down, and mind you, my wife don't work. So I support my whole family just off of my mowing. Mm-hmm. But and it sounds crazy, Brian, but I only got 45 properties right now.
No, that's still stout for a sole owner operator. That's a lot.
But see, that'll sound scary, and it'll sound like, man, he ain't hardly doing nothing. But Brian, the way I'm running my business right now, I implemented a lot of rules, and it's strict, Brian. So right now, we don't do much during the wintertime. So we got centipede, St. Augustine grass mainly. That's mainly what it's a little Bermuda and a little Georgia. Somebody that got some money and got their yard resodded. but it's not much of that. It's mainly Centipede and St. Augustine, where the Centipede don't grow much. So I mandatory a minimum of 20 services a year with card on file. But when I say card on file, Brian, the software that I use, I set it up to where they pay, even though I cut them from, I do that first cleanup in February and I stop cutting in November. I set it up to where they paying me all 12 months. And it's not a where they go in and pay. It's an auto draft. So I have to do no footwork, like nothing at all. And it's just automatic payment. Well, with that going on, Brian, I just set it up like that. That's why I lost a lot of customers.
Okay.
But with that going on like that, Brian, you know, I used to run my business. I was trying to land 100% of the jobs I went to. I wanted to land 100% of them. If I went to 10, I wanted all 10. Well, I'm going to tell you, 6 years ago, I got all 10. But today, if I go to 10 maintenance jobs, I might not get number 1 or 2.
Right.
And I'm fine with that because right now, Brian, with 45, I'm going to make over $100,000.
That's awesome.
I'm talking about just running solo and my wife helping me sometimes. Now that's including, you know, a little landscaping and most. I got to do most jobs here in a few, but including that. But man, I'm gonna tell you, when I made that vow that I'm not gonna overload myself and go crazy like that again, I want to spend time with my family.
I love it.
And Brian, my business is real profitable. It's very profitable. But yeah, man, I did pick.
Well, let me ask you this really quick. Did you imagine seeing yourself, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, pushing a lawnmower across the highway, going house to house, making 10, 20, 30 bucks, doing what you're doing today, making $100,000? Because you were telling me before we hit record, and I don't want to get into the story too much. It's yours to tell, but you didn't come from money or anything like that. You know what I mean? You came from very humble beginnings, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. Actually, man, I wanted to go to the shipyard and move up, and the trip part. Before I left the shipyard, they wanted to move me up to foreman. They wanted me to be a foreman. They was trying to pressure me. They was pressuring me, man, to be a foreman and move up. And, you know, that would have been a decent job, but, I had other plans, man. So, no, I didn't. I never thought I'd be running a business, man. Like I say, I just did it for side money. I never really looked at it as a business until I got to Ingalls and I almost lost everything and had to jump back in it.
Wow.
So,
Well, tell me a little bit about the Vertex. We got about 2 minutes here. What you were sending me messages and you're like, hey man, let me know how it's like getting the second one in the country. And so you guys are already mowing with it, man. So little plug for Exmark. You guys know I appreciate them. We bleed red. So what's your thoughts so far? Give me the honest review, right? Don't you love it when people title YouTube videos the honest review?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look, I'm going to tell you like this, Brian. I'm going to be quick. Man, I just picked up the 52-inch Exmark Vertex, man, the S-Series with the Series 4 Ultra Cut deck.
Yes, sir.
And, man, I've recently sold a right stand. I had the right stander X. I had the Vantage. Man, I done ran plenty more, man. John D, I borrowed my partner. I borrowed his Skag V-Ride too.
Okay.
And, man, this is by far the best lawnmower. I'm serious. And I told my partner, man, I said, man, I really thought about being an Exmark dealer, not because I just want to make the money. I don't want to stop cutting grass. I want to stop cutting grass. I really believe in after I ran all these different mowers, I believe in Exmark. Exmark Vertex, that's the best mower they made.
Wow.
You got to pay for them. You got to pay for Exmark. But, I will not run nothing other than Exmark.
Okay.
I wish I could talk to them. I just want to tell them thank you.
Yeah. I'll send this audio to them, and I'm sure they'll hopefully maybe they can send you a hat or something. Say thank you for the plug. So
yeah. Tell them send me something.
Hey, let me ask you this. You're the first person I talked to. Like we got 2 minutes. What Right Stander X, and this isn't anything against Wright. I love Wright and Ed Wright. He's a great guy. But with Exmark, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a Right Stander X painted red. read, and I'm not here to debate 500 different internet trolls and warriors, but keyboard warriors, but it's not okay. There's a lot of designs that you can say are inspired by it for sure, but it's an entirely different platform. So what you said, you rode and ran the Right Sander X. What do you think compared to the Vertex with the UltraCut deck? What's your pros and cons? No right or wrong answer. Whatever you think.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm not knocking right, but when I had that Right Sander X, man, I took the mulching kit off of it. I had a mulching kit on. I took the mulching kit off of it. Well, when I was cutting with that thick, wet St. Augustine grass, for anybody down south that know about it, I'm talking about maintenance grass. It don't shoot out good, for number one.
Okay.
It don't discharge that well. Man, that X mark, we all know. I don't care what you put that X mark in. If the grass too high, man, it'll shoot grass, man, 30, 40 foot.
Yeah.
So man, it's an overall. It's like it might be similar to it, but it's a way better built machine. A whole lot more solid, a whole lot more durable. Man, everything about it, man, it's better. It's a lot better machine, man. Heavy duty for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm excited to put ours out in the field. Go figure, we get a new mower, and very thankful for blessed with that opportunity and that partnership with Exmark. And lo and behold, my guys Mark and Rob are going to be running it more than I am, And I'm like, dude, you get the new mower, the new equipment, and Rob's like, it's my mower now, So we'll make sure to keep you guys updated. And I love giving my guys some of the best equipment to run with. That's a little tip there to keep good employees, is making sure you have really nice equipment. But Jarvis, we got to shut it down here. I got literally 1 minute till my other guy's going to call. But where can people find you, man? And then lastly, maybe like a quick last encouraging word. You get about 30 seconds, man. Go.
All right, man. I got a small YouTube channel, Kingdom Lawn Care. I said I was gonna start trying to post a little bit more, man. Just putting out a few tips and stuff like that, man. That's mainly what I'm gonna be doing.
Cool.
But Kingdom Lawn Care on YouTube. So y'all, if you want to follow, man, go over and check it out.
Awesome, man. What's one last quick tip you got for these guys? You got 15 years in business, 10, 15 years with your wife, or married, 3 kids. What's your biggest business tip or life tip? What do you got?
Okay, man, I say put God first, man, and time. Time is the only thing that you can give and never get back. So make sure you value your time, man. Spend that time with your family, your kids, your friend, whoever it is, man. Make sure you use your time wisely and value your time.
That's good. That's heavy. That's good and heavy. Well, I love it. Jarvis, we got to get you back on the show. Maybe we'll get you like a midsummer, a late fall, like kind of a business season update. But we got to button it up really quick here. So thank you sincerely for taking time to be on the show. And we'll make sure when this comes out, we'll tag everybody on Instagram so you can share it. But man, wishing nothing but the best down there, down south. It's a beautiful area, like from the Panhandle all the way to across the board to New Orleans. I need to get down south. I like deep south. Like, you guys are awesome down there. And for all of you guys who are listening, you guys don't get the shout outs as much as some of the people in the Midwest or Florida or even Australia, but we love you guys, and one day I'll make my rounds down there and get to hang out with all of you guys. So Jarvis, thanks for taking time to be on the show, man. We super appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, guys, we'll button up right here. You guys heard it here from, we got Jarvis Millender with Kingdom Lawn Care. Give him a follow on YouTube. Check him out and say, hey, heard your podcast with Brian. You are awesome. Let him know that you guys are listening in, and we'll button up right here, guys. So that's what we got for this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. We're going to kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer, to hear a little bit more from them show sponsors and show announcements. And, guys, we look forward to catching up with you here on the next one.
Summer showers, dust that chokes, acres that just won't end. Exmark knows the job of a landscape professional isn't an easy one. That's why we've crafted a legendary line of mowers built to overcome any obstacle. So you're ready to close the deal and finish the job, like you always do. Cut from the same red metal as your Exmark mower, you aren't just good at this. You were built for this.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.